What up, TikTok? It's your man's Ken Jackson doing this kind of late night, I guess. I guess it's only 11:14, so I guess you can call it late night, but just wanted to come on and hang out for a little while. It's been a long, hot day here in South Florida. Tried tried not to pay too much attention to the politics and the bullshit that's been going on. So just took it easy today. It's Saturday, obviously, and I don't usually do too much of anything on Saturdays or Sundays for that matter. So tomorrow's going to be a repeat of today. So hopefully everybody is enjoying their weekend. I happened to be sitting down at the beach earlier today and just looking out. Man, it was so beautiful out today, and then I started thinking. I said, "Man," I said, "there's a Category 5 hurricane somewhere out there, miles away, and headed this way. Sort of headed west, but they say it's going to turn north." I don't ever believe them until it does. These storms are so unpredictable, especially now with climate change being what it is. For all of y'all that don't believe climate change is real, our climate is fucked up. And honestly, I think part of it is cyclic, natural cycle of things, but I also believe that part of it is human caused. All of the pollution that we put into the atmosphere and into the environment definitely has some sort of effect on climate. Canada's on fire. You don't hear about it much in the news, but they got wildfires raging out of control in Canada, and these storms that have been sweeping across the U.S. for the past couple of months. Actually, it's crazy the storms that have been, pretty much raging from coast to coast. Something else I bet y'all haven't paid much attention to is the Ring of Fire, which stretches from the west coast, actually from the west coast of South America, all the way up around through Central America, U.S., up around Alaska, down around Russia, Japan, China, down all into Indonesia. I believe that's Indonesia. But the Ring of Fire, which is basically the entire Pacific coast, is waking up. And these volcanoes are starting to erupt, starting to have these big earthquakes offshore. I saw something today that said that the west coast of the United States should be prepared for a mega tsunami. That's the type of shit we never think about because it doesn't happen that often. And then when it does, everybody's all shocked and amazed, like, oh my God, like the tsunami that happened in the Indian Ocean some years back, when a lot of Malaysia and the Indian Ocean coast was at Thailand, India. A lot of that area was devastated from a tsunami, and a lot of people, picture in their mind tsunamis of this big, massive wave like you see in the movies, and that's not it, I mean, it could be, depending on what causes it, but in most cases, it's just like, best example I could give is like when you have a bucket full of water, and then you put a large mass inside the bucket that raises the water level, and it just continues to slosh over the top, until it settles back down. That's pretty much what a tsunami is. But it moves a lot of water really fast. And, and that's what really gets people, because of such a large volume of water coming inland. And let me tell you, if you're ever standing on the beach and all of a sudden the water rushes out, and leaves a lot of wet sand, and, no waves are running in like normal, it's time to get off the beach because the tsunami is coming. And probably actually at that time it's too late. You're not going to be able to run fast enough to get away from it anyway. So it is what it is. Anyway, yep, we're still living in a bizarro world. We got a third of the country that's still under the spell of the Trump cult, the MAGA cult. Just don't understand it. I'm not even really going to talk about it anymore because it's useless. We can talk people's ears off, but until they, crash and burn, they're not going to want to believe anything is wrong or anything like that. I was actually talking to my son earlier today, and we were just like, flabbergasted because we listened to a Trump press conference, and we were like, do they not hear what we hear? Is it, maybe we're fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we're hearing it wrong, but when the dude is talking, man, and he's sounding like a toddler, and with his name calling and references to shit that never happened or things that don't exist, and I'm like, his followers have to hear the same thing, but I don't know. Like I said, maybe we're fucked up. Maybe it's us that has the problem. I could be part of the problem. I don't know. So if I am, hey, I'm sorry. But as I see it and hear it, we got big issues in this country, and that's just the way it is. I guess that's life. I just want to touch on a couple of things though that really irks me in life. It's people not taking accountability for the shit that happens to them. Listen, I don't care what you're going through. It's all your fault. It's always your fault. And I include myself in this equation because no matter what, we have choices. And let me clarify. You can't control what somebody else says. You can't control what somebody else does. But you are in 100% control in how you respond to everything that comes your way. You are in control of your response to everything that comes at you. So, if somebody says something to you or says something about you, and you allow yourself to get pulled out of character, you get all pissed off and mad and angry, and you respond with violence or you respond with a higher level of stupidity, that's your fault. You can't blame the other person just because they said something. If you get triggered, okay, and lose control, that's on you. I can't blame somebody for me being pissed off. I can't. And you can't either. That's all you. We are in total control of how we respond to anything that comes our way. And with that, we have to be prepared for whatever the consequences are in regards to the choice of response we make. So if something is said or something is done, and say you decide to respond with stupidity, you should probably expect stupid consequences. Straight up. If you decide to respond sensibly, you should probably expect to avoid a whole lot of headache. I love it when people come to me and say, oh man, Ken, so-and-so gets on my damn nerves. Why? Because this, that, or the other, they said this or did this and did that or whatever. I said, well, how did it affect you directly? It didn't. I just didn't like it. Well, what are you mad at them about? They did what they did because that's who they are. But you getting all bent out of shape about it, that's all on you. That's real. Once you grasp that fact, that reality, your life will be so much better. It really will. I guarantee your life will be so much more stress-free if you don't allow yourself to be snatched out of character because of what somebody else said or even what they did. If they didn't touch you, or if whatever they did or say doesn't affect your life directly, then whatever happens after that is all on you. Even if it does affect your life directly, your choice of how you respond to that is all on you, not them. And there's going to be a lot of people that you come across in life that are going to purposely try to trigger you. They're going to purposely try to get you to do or say things out of character because that's who they are. And this is one of the reasons why I always say you should never be disappointed in someone that you know. If you know them and you know that they're prone to stupidity, why are you disappointed in them? That's who they are. Accept who a person is. Accept what they show you. If they show you who they are, they tell you who they are, believe them. Then that way, when they continue to do stupid things in life, you won't be surprised. You can't be surprised if you know who they are, and therefore you can't be disappointed. Because not only that, you shouldn't expect things of others that you expect for yourself. Only thing that you should be concerned with is you and your own ass, and your children if you're raising minor children. But even once your children get grown, then they're grown. Your job is done. Let them live and conduct their lives the way they choose to. I know it's hard. It's hard for a lot of you to accept, but that's the facts. Live your life. Stop trying to control others, and listen. Don't get it twisted either. Don't sit there and lie to yourself and say, I don't try to control anybody. I guarantee you tried to control somebody today. I guarantee you probably told somebody you shouldn't be doing that, or you shouldn't be saying that, or you this, or you need to do this. Knock it off. That's you trying to exert your influence on somebody. Just live your life. Live your life. Let grown folks be grown folks. Children are going to be children. And yes, children need to be guided by the parents. Plain and simple. Adults need to be setting the examples for children to follow. Because children are like computers. Humans are computers. That's all we are. And we pretty much follow what we learn throughout life. We're programmed through life. And we follow our programming. But your programming is not someone else's programming. So let others be who they are. You be concerned with who you are and live your life. If you see something that someone's doing that you necessarily don't like, here's my suggestion. Don't you do that. Don't do the same thing they're doing. Because what they're doing for themselves or to themselves or by themselves is no concern of yours. And that goes for your children too once they're grown. When your children are grown adults, it's none of your damn business what they do and how they choose to live. Your job was to raise them to adulthood. And along the way, it was your job to teach them the best way that you could in order for them to function as self-sustaining human beings in this world. And the world changes as we all grow older. So situations change. There's a lot of things that we say, oh, well, we can apply the past to the future, and that's absolutely right. And it's always a parent's hope, and I can say this because I'm a parent. I raised 3 successful kids, 3 successful adult children. No problems. No problems. Yes, we had difficulties. My kids aren't perfect. I'm not perfect or anything like that. But my kids made it into adult life. I taught them all that I could teach them. And now I don't interject myself in anything that they're doing with their lives unless they ask me directly. I let them be adults. And that's not to say I agree with my kids' lifestyle. I don't agree with everything that they do. But they are their own persons. I've done my job as a parent, and now I will sit back and enjoy the fruits of my labor. Plain and simple. I spend time with my grandkids now, and hopefully I can impart some knowledge to my grandchildren and hope that they'll grow up to be successful adult human beings as well. That's all I can do. I'm not going to concern myself with the bad decisions and choices that they may or may not make, because it's, like I said, my kids are grown, so they have to make their own choices from here on out. And they have to, continue learning lessons in life as they go through it. Now, if they ask me, if they say, hey, Dad, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? I'll tell them honestly what I think. I'm not going to tell them what I think they want to hear. I'm going to tell them honestly what I think, because that's what they asked me. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think. What matters is what they decide to do for themselves. And that goes for anybody that you're involved with in life. You got to let people be who they are. Mind your own damn business. Live your life, and trust me, once you get that philosophy down, you will have a much more stress-free life. I guarantee it. I've been retired now for going on 2 years. And I'm enjoying it. I love retired life. I don't make near as much money as I used to when I was in the music business and when I was in the trucking and logistics industry. I made a whole hell of a lot of money. But you know what? My life wasn't about making money. It was about, raising my family, teaching them the things that I could teach them and making sure that they made it to adulthood. And they did, all three of them. And now, I'm finding my way as a senior citizen in America. You know what I mean? And my days are pretty much filled with nothing. I come on here and I broadcast every now and then. It's just a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Somebody says, Ken, man, you should just get on and, and do more and turn it into a money making thing. It's not about the money anymore. As I get older, as I, gotten older, I've learned that chasing the bag was the biggest waste of time. I shouldn't have been chasing anything. I should have been living, living the dream, in which I did. Honestly, I've had a great life. I can't complain at all, really. It wasn't always easy. Of course not. Nothing's always easy. But I wouldn't change anything at all. I've been fortunate, traveled around the world several times, done a lot of things, in what some would say my short life. I'm 60 years old. I know I don't look it. I don't feel it. Well, yeah, I do. Sometimes most times I feel it. I feel every bit of it, actually. But now I'm just taking it easy. A lot of you may or may not know I got a terminal heart condition. And I know it's going to do me in one day. But you know what? We're all going to the other side eventually. So you can't dwell on that. You can't go through life thinking, man, I'm going to die and, then what? Who cares? Because when it's done, right? We can't avoid it, and I don't know if I would want to avoid it, actually, to tell you the truth. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for the life that I've had, and I mean that in all honesty. And I take the good with the bad, because, those experiences, were unique to me, and everybody should be grateful for the experiences that they're having in life. It's hot as hell in this motherfucker. I'm getting myself an AC this week. Sorry to go off topic, but, cause it's hot in this room. I got the hottest room in the house. And all I have is this little desk fan right now, but I'm definitely going to break down and get an AC this week, and because I gotta cool it off. I've been, trying to be tough and, and sweat it out, because the sweat, is actually good for us. It detoxes our bodies and all of that, and but it is miserable when you're trying to sleep at night and you're like super hot and shit. And I let my fan blow on me all night long. I get it at night and the dog gets it during the day. I'll set the fan down on the floor for her and let her enjoy the breeze. And it helps. I mean, I know they say a fan just moves hot air, but, moving hot air is much better than still hot air. And the humidity here in South Florida is ridiculous. I heard a dude from, I think he was in Rhode Island the other day talking about the humidity in Rhode Island. I was like, yeah, okay. Come to the tropics, my dude. Come to the tropics. And then talk to me about humidity. But in any case, I rambled tonight just to say this. Live your life. Enjoy your life. Get off the hamster wheel. Stop chasing the bag. Trust me when I tell you this. Sit back, relax, find out what it is that you really love to do and do that. And I know the first words out of a lot of y'all's mouths are going to be, I can't afford to do that, Ken. I got to pay the bills. I got to do this and do that. Yeah, you sure do. You absolutely do. We all have to do that. But you know what? You can struggle pursuing your dream and your passion, or you can struggle pursuing someone else's dream and their passion. Think about that. Only a few of you will get that. And granted, not everybody can be a boss. Not everybody can be an entrepreneur. Not everybody can run a business. That's true. Some of us, have to be worker bees. But that's the way nature made it. Think about a beehive. Every bee in the beehive knows their position. And they execute their position with precision. The worker bees do the work that they're supposed to do, taking care of the queen. Then you have the soldier bees that protect the hive. Everyone has a role. And humans are the same way. Humans are unique in the fact that we've figured out how to fuck everything up. Because humans don't want to play their position. Humans all want to be the boss. Humans all want to be the leader. Humans all want to do their own damn thing and don't think about the collective good for us all. That's just the way humans are. That's a fact. And if you think about everything that's wrong in the world today, everything has that same common denominator, humans. I hate humans when I think about it like that. Yep, me included, because I've contributed as much bullshit to the world as the rest of you out there. We all have. If that makes you upset that I said that, I'm sorry, but that's a fact. We've all contributed to the bullshit that's going on in human existence because we're all humans, right? But we're supposed to be intelligent. We're supposed to be the masters of our realm, but yet we're the ones that fuck it up the most. We're the most destructive, most self-destructive creatures that have ever existed. Think about that. We invent the most creative ways to kill and destroy everything else around us. Now, if we were so intelligent, I would think that we've figured out by now how to preserve life and make this world better for everybody living in it. But you're always going to have these few knuckleheads that want to be in control. They want to control the resources. They want to hold all the power. They want to make all the decisions for everybody else. And don't get me wrong, we need leadership. We all do. We all can't be leaders. But the problem is we always seem to pick the wrong leaders because we let our own greed and our own desires creep into our decisions. And then we make these bad decisions and these bad choices. Then our lives become all fucked up and then we want to blame everybody else. Think about that. All right, that's all I got to say tonight. I'm hot as a mother freaker. If you haven't, visit my YouTube channel, Crazy Baby TV World. subscribe to the channel. It won't cost you anything. I promise. I don't sell merchandise. I don't push products. I don't endorse shit, you know. So if you see things in my videos that I use, that's about the only endorsement they're going to get, because, hey, I can't hide it, you know. And every now and then I'll talk about things that I do like, but that's not an endorsement. That's just things that I like. I don't know if you're going to like the same damn things, but if you happen to like it, hey, good for you. But anyway, subscribe to the channel. That's the Ken Jackson Experience at Crazy Baby TV World on YouTube, and it's Crazy Baby TV World here on TikTok and all my other social media platforms that I exist on. So subscribe, follow me. You know, every now and then I got something good to say, I think. You know, most of the time it's bullshit. I admit I'm not the most charismatic guy that there is, you know, broadcasting, but hey, you know, like I said, every now and then I might say something useful to you, blah. And but you'll never know if you miss it. So subscribe, follow me, join the community, whatever you want to call it. You know, help me with the algorithm. That's basically all it does when you subscribe to my channels or follow me here, there, or the other. But again, like I said, I ain't asking for no money from none of y'all. Money's tight, I know. So keep your coins in your pocket and buy the things that you need for life. All right, I'm your man's Ken Jackson. This has been the Ken Jackson Experience live on TikTok. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.